Hey, what's up guys, Armadyz here and welcome to another video. Today I'll be checking out the GT 610 from Nvidia and how it performs in 2018. Now my last video about my GTX 660 did really well. You guys seem to really like that video, so I decided to make this one about an older GPU from the same generation, which was released in 2012. Now the GT 610 is kind of hated, and some people like this card, but overall most people think that this card is kind of low end and not suited for gaming, and we'll be checking out if that is the case, and maybe it can run some of the older games or maybe even newer games. So we'll be testing those out. Now let's talk about the specs of this card. The card has 2 gigs of DDR3 memory, which sounds like a lot, but it's the standard DDR3 memory and not the GDDR5 memory. And as far as I know, there's not a GDDR5 version of this card, so we have to stick with that. And it also supports DirectX 12, which I'm sure is not very useful for this caliber of a card. Although I do have to say that this card only requires a maximum power of 29 watts, so it is a low power card. And also, as you can see from the video, it is a low profile card, so it is not it's not a big card, so it can fit in any PC and it will work with any OEM power supply. It also has 48 CUDA cores, and the last thing I would like to say that this card unfortunately does not support the latest Nvidia drivers. It only has the drivers up until late March, so Nvidia actually stopped the driver support for this card, but it shouldn't impact our frame rates too bad. Now today I'll be pairing this card with a i5 3570K, and that should not bottleneck this card in any way, and also 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM. So let's get into the benchmarks. I tested some of the older games, some of the newer games, so yeah, let's just jump in. Okay, so first of all, I tested GTA 5 at 800 by 600 on the lowest settings, and I got an average of 34 FPS. So honestly, I was kind of surprised to get a 34 FPS average. The minimums were at 21, so there were some like drops to 20s and stuff, but for the most part I was really surprised how smooth it was. Now honestly, the game looked really potato-like. I mean, it really looked really bad, but it's playable, and I would say that if you're okay with having lower settings, then this game runs really fine. Okay, so after being so surprised with the GTA 5 result, I decided to test Witcher 3 on the lowest settings at 1024 by 768, and as you can see, it's a slideshow. Okay, so this game does not run well at all, and I know that there are channels like Low Spec Gamer where you can get like maybe 20 FPS, maybe 30 FPS with this game, with this card. But honestly, at that point, the game the game will look so bad that I don't think it's really enjoyable to play even. But yeah, I think this game is just too much for this card, and yeah, just forget about playing The Witcher 3 on this card. Now for something a little bit older, 2012 Call of Duty Black Ops 2, 720p medium, got a really good result, 59 FPS average, runs really well, was really enjoyable to play. Don't mind the drops to 30 FPS, that's just Fraps doing some kind of VSync thing. But yeah, overall this game runs really well. It doesn't look the best at 720p and medium, but honestly it plays really well, and that's what's most important really. As you can see, I'm just getting kills left and right. So yeah, this game runs really well, and yeah. Next up is Fortnite. I decided to test this one because last time I did not include it in my GTX 660 video, so I decided to test it because it's the most popular game now. And at 1480p and lowest settings, I got a maximum of 39, average of 28, a minimum of 19. So this game is, I would say it's playable, believe it or not. So I played it and it was all right playing it, but honestly, it looks really like a potato. The game looks like I don't even know. It looks really bad, but if you really want to play it, I mean, you can play it, and you can even reduce the resolution even further if you want. to maybe squeeze out those, increase the minimums a little bit and increase the averages. So Fortnite is playable, but again, kind of like with the previous games, the game looks really, really low quality. Okay, next up I tested Dark Souls 3, and I tested it because I just had it in my library and I just like, I thought of testing it. So Dark Souls 3 is just unplayable. Now you can see the minimum is 0, and that was just because I was getting freezes, and the average is 28, which it is not really that correct, because once I entered this starting area, I dropped to like 7 or 8 FPS, and for some reason it did not register, maybe because I was in the menus and stuff. But yeah, the game just slows down and becomes unplayable. In some dungeons I did get a normal frame rate, but yeah, I also got this weird message, frame rate unstable for online play, and the game just exited out. So yeah, this game is just refusing to work with this card. So yeah, Dark Souls 3, not gonna happen. And next up is CSGO. Obviously had to test that because it's a popular esports title, and of course it runs really well at averaging at 46 FPS. Now again, I tested at 720p. You can lower it down to 800 by 600 or even lower if you want, and you will get an average of 60. I can be sure. And also this was tested on the new Dust map. So the Dust map has been revamped so many times, and they added new polygons. So other maps I'm sure will run better. Also this was a bot match, so there you go. And yeah, it definitely runs well, and you can increase the FPS maybe with some config modifications and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. Another esports title is Paladins. Really easy to run, 720p medium, got an average of 85 FPS. Really no problem running this game, and it looks okay. It has that cartoon style, so it's just really no problem for this card to run. And yeah, I can definitely say that I played a bunch of hours with this card. And yeah, it is fun to play, and it runs well, and there's no surprises here once again, because this game is just so easy to run on any card. So there you have it.
Good night.
Okay guys, so in conclusion, the GT 610 is a really low-end graphics card, and let's be honest, it was never designed for gaming. It was always designed for multimedia tasks like watching videos, watching movies, browsing the web. Nvidia themselves say that, hey, it's just an integrated kind of, if you have an integrated graphics, maybe you need dedicated graphics, which let's be honest, some of the dedicated graphics are probably better than this card. So yeah, the Witcher 3 result really just killed my impression on this card. Just getting those smooth 8 frames per second just really really blew me away. So now if you can find this card for, like, let's say $5, I don't know if you can get any better card for $5. Maybe buying used, you get really lucky, but I would never pay more than, like, I don't know, $10. No, just nothing over $10 I would never pay for this card. But if you need a dedicated graphics card, you don't have anything right now, you're building a really low-end system, maybe you're doing some kind of challenge, maybe if you can find it for, once again, a really low price. Now personally I got it for free from a friend, so that's why I decided to make a video on it. I just got it for free. I know I wouldn't personally never buy this card, but once again, there are some special instances where people might have a reason to buy a card like this. So once again guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Press the like button if you did, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified about my next video, and if you really like this one, go ahead and suggest in the comments what else do you want to see. And also, if you haven't checked out my previous video on a GTX 660, then go ahead and check that out. It was kind of a popular video, that's why I decided to make this one. That's pretty much it, and thank you guys for watching once again, and goodbye.